just a quick thought here. I was wondering about which is the best way to edit a YouTube video, right? And I just got started basically, right? But I've been trying to come up with topics to talk about. I've been trying to figure this whole editing thing out, you know. I'm just kind of breaking my head over it. That was my dog, I think. Kind of breaking my head over it. But I realized something while I was walking my dogs actually this morning. The whole time I'm walking my dogs, I'm listening to a YouTube video. I don't really care about what the video is showing, you know, because I'm walking. All I care about really is what they're saying, you know. And the video was about the best ways to edit your YouTube video or something like that, right? I really don't need to see that. All I need to do is hear it, which is the most important part. And so that got me to I had an epiphany of sorts, and it was, don't worry too much about editing the YouTube videos. You know, if you have a topic that you want to talk about, people will listen to it, you know, because when we make videos, you tend to put a lot of emphasis on what you look like and what your video looks like. And yeah, sure, you know, that's what videos are meant to be. After all, this YouTube is a way to upload video to watch, you know. But I think YouTube is evolving in a way that it's kind of taking over podcasting almost. Just example, I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan. You know, I listen to his interviews, you know, awesome interviews. But he started off as a podcast and eventually started making his interviews filmed on YouTube. And so you know, he people are able to see him, you know, while he's interviewing the person. But most of the time when I'm driving or walking my dogs or exercising, I'm just listening to what he's saying. I'm not even paying attention to what is going on in the video, really, you know. I just want to hear what they're talking about. Same thing with that video I was listening to earlier about that guy talking about the best way to edit your YouTube videos, you know. So one thing about editing YouTube videos, especially maybe like me that I'm barely starting off, is don't worry about it. You know, if your content is good, then I think the most important part is to make whatever you're talking about interesting and worthwhile to listen to, you know. So I think I'm gonna focus on that a lot more now, keeping that in mind, you know. And another thing I wanted to talk about was that the reason I say that YouTube might replace podcasting as a whole, sure, it's more expensive to film things, right? You need to buy equipment and lighting and all these things. But if we take the same premise that YouTube is going to replace podcasting, you know, and I said you don't have to edit your YouTube videos, then we can say that you can record your podcast with not a lot of editing, you know, and upload them to YouTube instead of just having a podcast, you know. Sure, there's some people that would rather watch you, you know, on a video rather than listen to you, people that have time, I don't know who. But most people will not mind, you know, as long as you're clear, you know, as long as you have a good mic that you're talking to, but you're gonna need that in podcasting anyways. You know, so that way your ideas can really come across and there's no problem with the sound. But where I think is the biggest reason why YouTube is going to kind of just replace podcasting as a whole as more easier and viable is because YouTube in itself is a search engine, you know. So whenever you look for podcasts, I mean, you can search them in a way, but you need to kind of be kind of specific about what you're searching when you're using Castbox or iTunes, you know, to search for a podcast. And since YouTube is already a search engine in itself, it's a lot easier to look for a podcast that's talking about the exact thing that you want to listen to, you know? Or not even a podcast, but just a video with a lot more niche and a lot more specific topics. So yeah, and I think that's pretty awesome, you know, and I think I'm going to take that way more into consideration now. Sometimes I'm just breaking my head over trying to edit a video, you know, and putting a lot of thought into, so should I add music or whatever. People just kind of want to hear good content, you know. That way when they're working out, you know, motivational type of things, you know, just interesting ideas, you know. Everybody has something new that they can contribute. So I think, yeah, so I think sound is the most important thing. I think right now what we're evolving to, there's some people on YouTube that demand to be seen, right? I was trying to, again, listen to a Casey Neistat video, you know, while I was walking my dogs. But Casey Neistat almost demands you to see his video. You know, you need to be looking at it because the way he makes videos is very artistic. You know, he puts a lot of thought into the shots and, you know, and using certain cameras and all these things. But you don't have to get that complicated. And especially, you know, if you're barely starting off, I think if you have good content, good stuff to talk about, then I think that will carry you a long way. You know, so the point is, don't worry too much about editing. Have good content, be clear, have good sound, and yeah, so that's it. You know, let me know what you guys think. You know, give me a like if you enjoyed that. Subscribe if you can. So thanks. We'll see you guys next time.